1.
4th down and 9 for Buffalo. Placement down. Bass's kick is up, and the kick is no good! Tyler Bass has struggled, and he just misses the kick.
It's embarrassing. They played their hearts out all year long, and then a missed field goal at extra point range, it hurts.
I just want us to win the Super Bowl, and just losing is it hurts.
I feel so empty.
It's always the Chiefs. Oh, no. Come on.
Ultimately, completely on me. I got to do a better job of keeping my target. I got to do a better job of playing a little bit more left than the other left to right.
They were running the football well. So Isaiah Pacheco ran the football well. That helped. But the other part of it is they were getting Travis Kelce open. We had stretches this season where it was like they weren't getting him open. They certainly did.
Honestly, it wasn't even like a negative thing. It was going to be a great environment. Being in here in Buffalo, I'd heard about it. It can be hostile, but you appreciate the greatness of organizations and going in and week out and packing the stadium and being fans. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Oh, it's an awesome feeling to come in here knowing that, you got your opponents against you and the whole city against you. You're kind of coming in here as a unit all by yourselves, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, I think that just comes down to the preparation. Sometimes I think those guys, they get really excited about playing in front of our fans and, the students here and everything like that. So I think that has a huge impact on how they start games.
We've been stuck on 7 the last 3 years. None of us talks about it. We all knew about it, but none of us were actually going to say the words out loud. So I think getting that 8 was just a big monkey off the back of just feeling like we can do that. And here on out, we just want to show up and keep competing. Couldn't be more proud of all the girls and the energy that we're bringing right now.
And good afternoon. Welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM, the talk of the town. Welcome into the Monday show. As we have a room full of people in here, not me as much, but that are happy last week is over with. You boys were busy last week.
We could do it again. I'd take another tournament, run it back.
Give me a week of rest before we do that, okay?
Steve Webster with you. Mike Corson is in today. The excited. You're always excited.
It's about sports. How can you not be? There's a lot going on. What's better than covering sports?
Aaron Clark and Mike Hesher all on today's show. A lot of, Chiefs talk, of course, we'll have today. Basketball tournaments wrapping up. Barton continues to roll. And also Jim Azunas will come in here, give his 2 cents today. 2 cents that we always value. But let's go ahead and get started here. Sounds the past 24 hours or so. The call on B1043, the point yesterday. Bills kicker Tyler Bass misses a potential game-tying field goal. Chiefs get a first down, run out the clock. They win it 27-24. And once again, Buffalo Bills fans after the game, wide right. There it was. You almost have to feel for Buffalo fans unless you're a Kansas City Chief fan. Tyler Bass saying, no, it's all on me. I should have made that field goal, although it was difficult situations. We'll talk about that kick coming up a little bit. Patrick Mahomes kind of embracing the fact that they were on the road. Hadn't done it before. Doesn't mean you can't do it, but he loved the environment. Tim Hasselbeck thought the Chiefs showed some grittiness and some toughness in that second half, especially on defense. And Isaiah Pacheco. Nothing like going into a hostile place. It brings teams together. You're in there, you're fighting the Lions at the Coliseum, man. And even though they've never beat the Lions, you just come together. Chiefs win it 27-24. Where do you want to start?
There's a lot we could go, but just hitting on Isaiah Pacheco to start. One thing that was standing out to me after that game, he was popping up from contact so quickly and just handing the ball back to the ref, ready to get after it. I love watching him run. He wasn't available for the last matchup between the teams during the regular season, and I thought you could really feel his presence, even if we did kind of see Andy Reid get creative, let's call it, down by the goal line, trying to run a jet sweep with McCole Hardman rather than just go full steam ahead with Pacheco. Almost gave him the game away, but Chiefs still able to salt it away. I was itching to hear your comments about the jet sweep, though, because anytime they do any of that kind of stuff down by the goal line, I know it's just gonna get your Webby rage sacks filled.
And I thought they were going to change that rule at some point. Still the silliest rule in sports, really.
Not at all.
Oh,
Not in the slightest. If you're the offense and you fumble into the end zone, what else is supposed to happen?
Touchback, yeah.
Exactly. It's
Put
a
it at the
touchback.
one.
It's a touchback. That's not you didn't lose it at the one. You lost it in the end zone when you didn't have possession of it. Anytime you lose possession of the ball in the end zone, it's a touchback. That's a touchback. It's not the stupidest rule. I hate seeing that every time.
It always seems to work against Kansas City, thus making it the stupid rule. But it's a fumble out of bounds. It happened to go through the end zone. Whoop-de-doo. It was arbitrary. There was no touchdowns. Just because it's different color paint, who cares? But my thing would be the game plan. You heard Romo saying all game Buffalo was running the ball well, but he also highlighted the Chiefs' defense in the second half, 7 points on average allowed all season. So I don't know if that was Buffalo couldn't run the ball because it did look like Chiefs were shutting it down, but Buffalo really went away from what they were doing in the first half.
Let's say this. Buffalo wasn't running. Josh Allen wasn't running the ball as much. I would like to ask Andy Reid, and it's the same thing that I've said that Chiefs opponents have done in the past. They rush upfield, right? Especially the defensive ends. Well, what are the Chiefs' offensive line? They just push them out. Then you've got your opening to get out. It appeared to me in that second half the Chiefs just started not trying to sack the quarterback, but just make sure it was a solid line going in where he didn't have his lane to escape. They were keeping a linebacker. You know, that's linebacker injuries could be a situation. And those are the ones they were spying with, but they weren't rushing upfield. So the lanes for Allen to run through weren't there. And the Chiefs' coverage in the secondary was outstanding in that game. But it didn't look like they were trying to sack the quarterback as much as contain Allen. He was their biggest rusher in the game.
There's definitely two types of ways to rush a quarterback or to try to combat a quarterback. You can either try to get after him, really try to pressure him and get guys around him, hitting on him, or like you said, you can try to negate where he can go with his legs, and that works when you have a guy like Allen who does a lot of his damage on the ground. I think you're exactly right. In the first half, the Chiefs were kind of pinning their ears back and getting into the sprinter stances, trying to get back there, and Allen can make you pay on that. In the second half, they kept a lot more of a pocket discipline and were just a lot more of a unified front, not letting him slip away. And he was hurt on a couple of, or at least one drop by Stephon Diggs. That's kind of a tough one. Kind of ironic that the Kansas City receivers came in with a lot of chagrin, and it was kind of the Buffalo's best wide receiver in a big moment, letting him down.
And Valdez-Scantling.
Oh my goodness!
They checked him after the game for pine tar.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he caught that was a tough catch.
And what a placement by Mahomes, like just right over the back shoulder on that far sideline, and just it was tight coverage. It was pretty good coverage from Taron Johnson, and just not good enough.
And he caught another one. I mean, it was and okay, so let's go ahead and let's go ahead and get to when the Chiefs had a chance to take a 2-score lead, right? They have it 1st and goal from the 3. Now, we have a game during the Chiefs that we now have. It's a drinking game, and one of the things where you have to take 3 blows is if they try a stupid trick play inside the 3. And Mecole Hardman was a perfect 2 for 2 because he fumbled earlier in the game when they gave him the ball, and he went over the corners. Don't stick the ball out on the end zone.
There's just no reason to be extending it in that situation. You got to have more awareness than that. I don't know.
Hopefully he's learned because the games are getting bigger. That was a really pivotal moment in the game. Could have absolutely cost him. So he's 0 for 2. Hopefully, let's just do business as usual going forward. Well, get him by the throat, push it in.
Next week, it's just going to be a jet sweep to Rashee Rice instead of Mecole Hardman now. So
I wanted to throw out some praise to Josh Allen. NFL got it right. They saved that game for last. I do believe those are your 2 marquee quarterbacks in the league. Allen's throw to the corner of the end zone.
First touchdown all year that Snead had given up.
And he put a couple of the long passes on dimes. And then the one lateral was maybe a little bit forward, but the second one was just a heady play. I would like to watch those guys more often, frankly.
I think it was a very impressive night from Josh Allen, and he was having to get it done in a little bit of a different way. I saw a pretty interesting stat. It was only the 4th time in Josh Allen's, I think, 109 starts in the NFL that he's been held to no 20-plus yard plays, whether that's a 20-yard run or a 20-yard pass. Chiefs didn't give him one, and when you take that element away from the Bills' offense, it makes it a lot harder. And kind of contrast this 4th one to those first 3. The first 3, he didn't even have more than 25 dropbacks. This game, he had 36, so a lot more opportunities. Chiefs defense still held strong.
And then another big play we can talk about. Do you fake the punt when did they count that
The
there were
Chiefs
only 10
didn't make
men?
them pay for that one either.
That was what I was texting my friend. After all of that sequence, the faked punt, everything, it's basically like none of it happened.
It was a wash.
Bills ball right back about 3 minutes later, so not even a huge chunk of time in a game that came down to a one-score possession. It could have been a lot of time, but just none of that really even mattered for the Bills to fake punt. The Chiefs getting that excellent field possession. It was just right back to Buffalo, same scenario.
And Buffalo looks like they're going down. They're going to score a touchdown, right? That Chiefs defense again comes up with some big plays and a penalty in there.
But it was nice to see them be able to kind of stiffen up when they needed to down the stretch in that game. I think at one point they had scored on 9 straight possessions. If you didn't count the Chiefs kneeling down at the end of the first half, 9 straight possessions, something like that. And then both defenses kind of stiffened up a little bit, and the Chiefs really coming up, forcing a 3-and-out in the third quarter. Looked very good for Steve Spagnuolo.
See, and here's why I said all season, I really don't care about the regular season. It's awesome to get the home field. Chiefs, when it matters, seem to play well, and they've been playing well the last couple of weeks. But even going into this next game, who in the right mind would bet against Mahomes and these guys?
Well, we'll talk about that coming up. But, Aaron, what's it like to go out when you're in a hot, especially football, because there's so many guys, and you're going out there against the Pittsburgh State Gorillas, and they've got that gigantic sound system that I wish I could just have in my backyard, and you're going into a Hornet, but man, everybody it makes you focus, and this has been a distracted team all year. I think it's kind of great that they are going on the road. They were focused yesterday. And why don't you cover Travis Kelce?
What's that?
Never mind.
Yeah, he'd been cold. What was it, like 8 games without a touchdown, and he gets 2 of them? Yeah, maybe they forgot about him as well, but how?
And don't forget about that. Now, Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce have the NFL's record for most playoff touchdowns between a quarterback and receiver with 16, past Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski. So kind of rarefied air. We know it's an electric duo, electric combo there, but historically irrelevant now. And like you were saying, trying to go in on the road to an environment. We got to be Pitt State's Thursday home opener one year, and so that was a pretty rocking crowd there in Pitt State. I can't imagine what the atmosphere in Baltimore is going to be. It's their first time hosting the AFC Championship as the Ravens. First time since 1971 when it was the Baltimore Colts that the city of Baltimore gets the AFC Championship. It's not going to be an easy place to go in just because it is kind of a fervent fan base. They kind of get live, not as much of a reputation as maybe the Eagles or the Bills, but still passionate fans. Mahomes, though, he looked not really rattled. He looked playing pretty well going on the road, didn't seem to bother him. And like you said, if you can negate some of the home crowd distractions, the pomp and fanfare will probably be a lot higher.
Everybody's on point.
That's what it's making the Chiefs kind of easy to hate for maybe the rest of the league, but for Chiefs fans, it's kind of fun. Tay-Tay's up in the crowd. Every time Kelce makes a play, they're going to cut to her.
That's another drinking game that killed me yesterday.
Hard hands on touchdowns. And then who stole the show? Jason Kelce is he's the star of the internet today.
He is my man. I mean, that's a big. How'd those pretty women up there with this big?
Well, he's picking up kids and taking them up.
Well, did you see his wife in the background? She just looks proud as can be. She's grinning ear to ear. The teeth are.
He's the sexiest man in America.
Oh, 100%. He proved it last night.
He was out drinking with the mafia out of bowling balls before the game. He was lifting up kids without a shirt.
How's he feel today? Has he got up yet?
Well, he's retired.
That kick. Okay, you go back to the first extra point. Buffalo almost missed that one. Then, on their extra points in that fourth quarter, they were just moving it over to the hash. And the hashes aren't as wide, of course, in the NFL, but they wanted on that side because that wind was taking it across. But on the field goal, no, it was on the near hash, on the same side he misses it, and it was just that much.
It's just heartbreaking when you think about it. Not necessarily for the Chiefs faithful, but looking back at the history of the Bills and the wide right and was after would have been in the early 90s, years irrelevant, but they win it to 4 straight Super Bowls. The first one, they're taking on the New York Giants. They lose 20-19 on a last-second missed field goal from Scott Norwood, wide right, and history's a flat circle. They just get it
And
right
the Chiefs
back.
knock them out
And you
again.
can't even say, boy, I love losing Super Bowls anymore because they can't make it that far. But I would say, that's a professional kicker. Romo was saying at the beginning of the game how pivotal that was going to be. He thought it would be an advantage to go to that end. But it wasn't like it hung in there until the end. That thing whistled off pretty quick. It was pretty evident early on. And then Nance had a great call off the cuff. Wide right, 2 of the most dreaded words in Buffalo. Like, that's a nice call.
Okay. And I don't want you to go into your Baltimore gush mode, okay? This is a quick answer, okay? Now you get I was feeling good Saturday. I said, yeah, old Rusty. It's old Rusty getting them. And then Lamar Jackson went back to Lamar Jackson, the quarterback that you fear.
Presumptive MVP for this year.
Oh, yeah, he's MVP, but he's back in that mode. He got smoked late in that game. And I said, man, but the guy that hit him in the thigh was the one that got hurt. No, he just went out, I'm not worried about it. I'm going to get every yard I can. When he's in that mode, as long as he's not hurt, yeah, they look good. They look really good. And you look what they've done in the last 4, 5, 6 weeks. They put 50 on Miami. Now, I will not back away because I've been saying all year Lamar Jackson is not going to be able to win the big one when he needs to. So I've still got the Chiefs winning, but the level of concern was raised up a little bit by that second half that they played against a Texans team that, man, watch out for them coming up in the next few years.
It's just another team in the AFC to kind of keep in your back pocket, keep an eye on. There seems like there's a few of them there rattling around. And to their credit, the Texans looked good. It seemed like they had some haymakers early, but Baltimore just overwhelmed them. I think they are that good of a team. It's going to be interesting to see what Kansas City can do because the offense that Kansas City is going against, it's not going to be an injury run-down team. Defensively, Baltimore's pretty healthy. They've got a lot of guys still playing very well. Maybe one of the best spines in all of football when you look at who they have at the middle linebacker spots. Roquan Smith has been playing incredibly well since they added him last year. It's really allowed Patrick Queen to play very well at linebacker. And when you have those two guys
So who's going to win?
I would think Baltimore, especially when you look at the home crowd advantage. It's funny because, of course, I was like, who's going to take against Mahomes and these guys? And I was like, well, if you've been watching Baltimore, it can be kind of the same to say who's going to bet against them.
I think you'll see the same thing from the Chiefs in this game defensively. Why rush up the field against
It was a very nice tune-up game for them to have to play against Josh Allen. I'm interested to see if the Ravens don't do a little more of the designed run because that zone or QB read they busted out for the Buffalo last night caught the Chiefs a couple times sleeping, and that's
what Baltimore did in the second half. That's what they started, more designed runs.
Mm-hmm. And
I was
Lamar
shocked.
got the legs for it.
Yeah, they got away from more of the passing game. He had more rushing yards, but I'd be more concerned defensively. They didn't allow an offensive touchdown in that game. But it was funny. I drove to coach my soccer team, so I had KVGB on. It was 10-10 at the half. All those guys said, Texas is taking this. So I got out of my soccer game thinking, sweet, Kansas City just needs a win. We're going to host and get home. And now I think it was 34-10. So didn't get to see them turn it on in the second half, but shocked to see that they brought back out the run game. And it'll be curious, but my take would be the Texans aren't the Chiefs. What will Lamar Jackson do when it's a low-scoring game or something in the third quarter? Will that pressure start to build?
And it does go both ways because the Chiefs' defense is absolutely a step up from the Texans as well. The Texans have a couple of good pieces, a lot of young guys. Chiefs, they're similar boat, but more along. It's going to be fun. I'll take the Ravens, but another 3-point game, another shootout with Buffalo.
Yeah, I can't change my mind right now, right?
I mean, I feel like you and me have been headed for this point all year.
Just like we were last year with the
Chiefs
vaunted,
and Eagles.
With the vaunted rush of the Philadelphia Eagles.
It's just a
How
different
many sacks
bird.
did they have in that game? None. Okay, all right, very good. Couple other highlights. Austin Downing, assistant coach for the Barton Cougars, talking about their 19-2 getaway on Colby Saturday. That's taking care of business. The Cougars go on to win that game, and they remain tied with Cali for first place on the men's side. Cali blew out Butler yesterday in a big game, so they went ahead and won that game going away. So 10-1, and also Cindy Beck, Lady Panthers, finished second to a very good Andover team in the Salina Invitational. So we'll talk about high school basketball when we come back. The Eagles. Patrick Mahomes won't be able to stand up. He's going to go down the whole day.
We can talk about his pressure rate if you want to look at some of those rather than just sacks.
I'm just looking for results, baby. More sports day after this.
Extend the life of your equipment with Cenex Premium Greases. Engineered with quality-based oils and well-balanced formulas to protect equipment in a wide range of temperatures and tough conditions. The Cenex line of grease products offer excellent rust protection, water resistance, and anti-wear properties to extend equipment life. Cenex Grease delivers the dependability you need to keep your operation running like a well-oiled machine.
Contact American Plains Co-op Fuel Department in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor today.
Attention high school juniors. Explore your career paths at Barton Community College's Junior Day on February 14th. This fun and free day features an on-campus tour, giveaways, yard games, pizza, and did we mention $3,000 in scholarships will be up for grabs. Learn about a variety of career paths, some of which can get you into the workforce and making money in just one semester. Sign up online now through February 1st at juniorday.bartonccc.edu.
Venture Corporation is a homegrown company with almost 50 years of experience in asphalt, paving, and construction, and they need equipment operators, mechanics, and CDL drivers. Venture offers many benefits, including 401k and Blue Cross Blue Shield health insurance. Call Leslie for all the details. Work for a family-owned and family-oriented company that is here today and will be here in the future. Venture Corporation, South Highway 281, Great Bend, is an equal opportunity employer.
It's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Man, you leave for a week, man. There's a lot of things went on.
A lot of developments. It's a lot we can discuss later.
All right. Your thoughts. The condensed version, Aaron Clark. The Salina Invitational.
Sum it up. Saw some incredible basketball. We'll start with the Lady Panthers coming away with a second place placing, I guess, there, taking a loss in the final day against Andover, a very good Andover squad. And you don't want to put too many excuses there because I'm not sure how much it would have affected the final output. Sadie Spray did get into foul trouble very early in that game. 3 fouls with, I think, 5.5 minutes to play in the second quarter. She only ends up playing 22 minutes and ends up scoring over 15 points in the second half, but got in trouble early there. And I thought it was very impressive to see the other Lady Panthers step up. A gal like Emily Hall finishes the night with 15 points. She had a very strong performance overall at the Salina Invitational Tournament, resulted in both her and Sadie Spray being named to the all-tournament teams. I think they encompassed it very well. We saw Emily Hall defended very well against some very tall opponents. There was one in particular, Elena Shetler for Andover. She was about 6'3", and
6'3" because she shoots the three.
And she shoots the three. That was the impressive part. And Emily did a very good job respecting her on the line, and then even when she did try to go down low. Also, impressive night from Jillian Reimer defensively. Finished the night with, I think, 2 steals. And no fouls, though, for Jillian. She had to do a lot there. You think about what Sadie Spray going out of the game, what that does for Jillian. She played incredibly clean, and Reimer on the defensive end hasn't been getting as many of the steals, but like a gal like Kenzie Premer, Sadie Spray and Kenzie Premer both averaging 3 steals a game. But Reimer does so well playing on the wings when the Panthers are up there pressing. Rarely does a clean inbound look get past her if she's not either getting a hand on it or batting it out of bounds. She's been fun to watch this year. And moving it over to the boys' side of things, they come away with a third-place victory. They actually beat the top seed in the tournament, Abilene, in their third-place game. 2 Panthers get the all-tournament honors there as well, Ian Premer and Maddox Spray. Kind of fun little, the Spray twins both getting all-tournament honors there for Great Bend. That's a fun one. But play of the tournament, probably, at least for the Panthers, I might crown it play of the entire tournament. Ending the third quarter in that third-place game for the Panther boys, Daxton Mittens throwing it in from the right baseline. 1.1 seconds left on the clock. He cocks it back like a football. You see the quarterback one, the second team all at quarterback there. and he rockets one down the court, finds Cooper Omott probably 10, maybe 8 feet away from the left of the bucket on the left baseline. He jumps up. He had to soar up to get it. It was on the money. He had to launch up, though, grab it 2 hands, tips it in before he even goes to the ground, sinks the bucket. The gym went nuts. I went nuts. The referee, as I was given the call and sent it into the third quarter, was kind of laughing at me, but it was a ridiculous play that kind of sent the Panthers into a really on a high note into the fourth period.
Yeah, you can watch that one on Facebook. It's making the rounds today, which is cool. We got to see Mason Martin's buzzer beater, so it's cool that these clips are making it on Facebook. But Grant Hill, Christian Laettner, that was like a 3/4 court. This was almost full court, and it was on a dime.
And,
it was pretty.
You don't want to inflate, but it's not even just a straight shot because it's Mitten going from right side of the baseline. Like he's got the diagonal across the court. I don't know. It was a pretty pass, and can't say enough about the finish from Omott too. Just a freshman being able to catch it, have the composure to put it up on the money.
Okay, to throw a basketball that far. The other thing is, thanks to those seams that you have on there, it is very hard to keep that ball from curving, from spinning. So he had to have that because
it was
to put it right on the money.
It was Dad's javelin.
Did he have the turn the other way?
Because you can't see the spin in the video, but the ball does not move. It doesn't look like. And that was what impressed me is if you've ever trying to make a long shot.
It always spins.
It always spins. And it looked like it was more like just a strength push, 2-hand pass.
Okay, so the Lady Panthers lose to Andover, who was not ranked going in to the tournament, but they were the class of the field, obviously. And the final score is 55-37. Panthers are kind of trying to hang in there in the third quarter, 9-10 points. But then Andover finally put the pedal down and pulled away. And then the Andover boys also not ranked in 5A. I bet they are this week. They took care of Wichita South in the championship game 60-48. So I don't think nothing to hang your head about them coming out. Now we get into conference play. Hayes on Friday?
Hayes on Friday. We got
TMP
back-to-back 8 trips to Hayes this week. Nice little trip to visit the Monarchs tomorrow and then get second game of WAC play underway on Friday.
Taco shop?
Maybe. Might be some talks of taco shop. Might be some talks of a Golden Q potentially. Who knows what's going to happen?
Before the game?
After.
Okay.
Oh, what's not? Man, the before is a standard Casey's Pete. Like, you get 2 slices.
Yeah, 2 slices. You got
on the road
4 last year.
Well, I mean, when I was hungry. Let's not. It was 3.
Okay, Winter Jam, your champion on the girls' side, Minneapolis, beating Hoisington 62-38. Mike Hesher, Minneapolis, wasn't ranked going in. I bet they are this week. They're pretty good.
It will be interesting, but they're in a loaded sub-state. I've looked at their sub-state. They're in with Heston. They're 9-1. They are a state caliber team, no question whatsoever. Macy McClure, I talked to Brian Willerman, their coach, right before the game. He was like, we want to speed things up. I'm like, you want to speed things up against Hoisington? That sounded odd to me. Macy McClure, what is the one thing you learned when you were in grade school, high school? If somebody's dribbling the basketball and you're running, you beat them down the court. Macy McClure, multiple times while dribbling, would beat the Hoisington girls down the floor. It was incredible.
That kind of speed with the ball is tough to stop.
I mean, it was, and they couldn't stop her. She had 13 points, and then Hoisington was down 11 at halftime. You're thinking, okay, there's a chance. Minneapolis comes out, hit 3 3-pointers back-to-back, 20-point game, and about 90 seconds into the quarter, it was over.
If I can go back quickly to the Great Bend boys, just that, talking about being able to chase down the court. If they have the ball, you don't let them beat you down the court. Abilene at one point gets a steal. They're moving into the transition. Their senior point guard, Fisher, he has it probably around the free throw line. He pulls up a little bit, thinking he's going to have just an easy finger roll finish on the right side. Around that time, you see that 6'6" frame, that shadow go flying through the air. Ian Premer sent it out of bounds, flying into the baseline or the wall behind the baseline. It was nasty. The amount of distance he covered in a short amount of time was truly impressive.
Back to the Winter Jam, the boys' champion, Ellsworth, 43, Pratt 27 in the championship game.
All you need to say is Will Cravens. I mean,
he's a fun kid to watch.
He's a fun kid to watch, and I don't want to even compare him, but he has this presence on the court that Ron Baker did, is what I saw. I mean, he just was cool, collected, didn't get rattled, and he was in total control. He had, at one point, he had half the points for Ellsworth, but Pratt was Pratt couldn't handle him.
Yeah, he's pretty smooth.
He's just smooth.
Yeah. Remember his brother Remington?
I don't remember him, no. I might have been gone.
Well, that was when you're on your 7-year sabbatical out in the mountains, where you went out and found yourself. No, he's pretty good ball player too, but
at 3A, you're used to seeing a lot of those same teams. Awesome to see Ellsworth up in there this year. Brett Rolfs in his second year with the program, and then he's got that talented class back. I hope they can make a late run.
That Rolfs family knows sports.
Midwinter Classic, I just want you to know that I picked who was going to win this.
Nickerson?
That was pretty easy. Sunrise Christian beating Nickerson 87-36. Central Plains beating Larned in the third place game 51-21. St. John Girls bring home first place. They beat Sunrise Christian 63-59, and Central Plains takes a third place game over Maxville 41-30.
Sunrise is a funny team. I think Great Bend, Sterling, a lot of our area teams have played them, and a lot of them have been close. So 87 winning by 50 points is
kind of
unexpected.
A weird measuring stick that we do have between some of the area teams that we don't necessarily normally have between like a 5A like Great Bend and maybe what ranking is 2A for Central Plains? 1A for Central Plains. Not a lot of times you get a lot of crossover in the teams those are playing. Kind of fun to have that cross reference.
Yeah. So the Winter Jam is complete.
Amen.
Can't wait till next.
We had fun, but I got a year to recover.
All right, Barton basketball over the weekend. We mentioned the men taking care of Colby on the weekend, winning 74-57. Barton will be on the road at Independence, so Cole gets to take that fun midweek journey down to southeast Kansas. Barton women, they defeat Colby 64-46, and the Barton women now are 8-4 in conference play. Butler's been struggling, and they lost yesterday to Cowley in a big upset, 71-69. So Barton is one game behind Butler in the standings. Then you have Hutch 12-0, 18-0 overall. Dodge City's 10-2 and 16-2. Barton and Cowley tied atop the men's standings at 11-1, one game in front of Hutch, who's 10-2, and Butler, who got smoked yesterday, 77-58 in Arc City by Cowley. So Butler's now 9-3, but that men's race is going to be very interesting as we head down the stretch. They crossed the midpoint of the conference season over the weekend. So
some wrestlers in action, too. Just some highlights. Boys were up at the Bob Coon Prairie Classic in Hayes. Had that outstanding performance at Capon at the duels. Dropped to number 6. Dropped 4 spots in the polls.
Yeah.
But Jay Sharts was able to win his bracket. The girls went down to Wichita Heights. Daisy Gomez, she got her poster for 100 career wins, but I think she's actually at 111. So she and Kaylee McMullen won their brackets. And then Kira Stevens goes up against a ranked girl, loses early on, gets her in the consolation finals and pins her. So we'll try to catch up with Coach Reichert tomorrow.
Okay. Anything else out of the weekend? What did we forget?
We don't care about NFC championship, but
that was a good football game too.
I was going to say there's a couple of pretty good ones. Shout out to the Lions making their second ever NFC championship game. First one coming in 1991. It was the Barry Sanders' third year. It's been a long road for the Lions, but gotta love what Dan Campbell's doing there. Took over 3 years ago and now has built them into one of the best cultures in the NFL. It just feels like the guys who are there are bought in, and I personally love the way they're built. They've spent a lot of resources on the offensive line. They have one of my favorite young tackles in Penei Sewell, and I still think the 49ers are going to win. I think they're the better team, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Lions managed to give them a similar run for their money like the Packers did.
Hey, San Francisco delivered when they had to, man. That was a huge, big-time drive, wasn't it?
And it's kind of interesting to see because that's not always the case for those Kyle Shanahan teams, especially in the postseason. That's been one of the biggest criticisms you can have of Kyle Shanahan is sometimes they fall flat in those game-tying or those big critical game moments. Dre Greenlaw, though, 2 interceptions, needs to learn when to go down after picking someone off as on defense, but that 49ers secondary, they're very good. They can get a lot of pressure. I'm interested to see what the Lions have. They have one of the best bright young offensive coordinators in the league in Ben Johnson. And I'm very excited for both conference championship matchups coming
And
up
how
on
about
Sunday.
the rebirth of Baker Mayfield?
He
had a couple bad picks. That one yesterday, I don't think he saw that linebacker on that last one.
That was tough.
Because he dropped really fast and was underneath. But did you see that guy? He's huge. He reaches up and makes a catch. My comment during that game, let's sign him. Let's sign him for the Chiefs. Did you see that catch?
Well, but then you got to be worried because what they're going to go and get cute and do stuff with him on the goal line. They're going to get him. That's when they're going to get him the ball, you know.
Yep, 3 sips right there. Chiefs doing silly things at the 3.
Cool part about the Detroit game at the end, they brought in the lineman who had been banged up, stayed in the game. Quarterback had to tell him to take his helmet off before the interview. So I hope we get to see that story go because it is probably the best feel-good story of the NFL season. So beat out the Niners this week.
Okay. Your girls were in the headlines this weekend. Caitlin Clark gets knocked down as the Ohio State fans rushed the court after the game.
She's going to need some...
I'm glad that you didn't see that. You'd have been in your vehicle heading up.
Yeah, give me some of that $2 million. I'll come up with a security team.
The NCAA might start trying to crack down on court stormings because not only did Caitlin Clark get knocked down by a fan, but a Memphis player got knocked down by a fan after they got upset too. I don't remember who the Memphis men's player was, but both probably the highest profile college basketball player, regardless of men or women's, Caitlin Clark get knocked down, and then just someone on the men's side as well.
That's a good thought, but if you just remember, the people that are lining the court in yellow coats, right? Are they policemen? No, they're college students. They're sitting there.
I'm not saying it's their fault. I'm not saying it. I'm just saying the NCAA might start trying to crack down on it.
Well, then you're going to have to hire 20 cops. I can see that.
That might be where they go because you can't have your biggest stars get knocked. Because
we just need to fire rubber bullets at them. I'll keep them out of there.
They're also going to ban snow in Buffalo so those fans can't throw them at the winning quarterback.
Oh, there you go. Jim Mizuno standing by. I don't see an extra sticker on his pullover for Nickerson wins. They got some this weekend. Big Jim up next.
When it comes to car maintenance, it's good to know a local guy that can get things done. The Eller family has been in the auto repair business in Great Bend forever. Greg Eller continues that long tradition of helping people. Eller Automotive Repair specializes in wheel alignments, oil changes, and general maintenance for all makes and models of cars and small trucks. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4 Fridays. Eller Automotive Repair at 915 Morton, right behind Great Bend Appliance, Furniture, and Sleep Source, 10th and Morton.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Wright, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powson, president of your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. Because at Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
He's covered more big games than anyone else in the Golden Belt. He might be on your sideline, in your gym, or just about anywhere there's a game. Sports Day presents the Great Bend Tribune's Jim Mizunas.
Jim Mizunas in on Sports Day today. Yeah, he might be on the sideline somewhere or... So where were you this... tournament week is over. Time to take a deep breath.
Yeah, tournament.
Get ready.
We're just
Get your
glad
second win.
The weather was good this week. I mean, good. It was 0 like every day, but at least there wasn't a foot of snow. If this would have happened a week ago, it would have been a mess because they would have been. And actually, some of the tournaments like Sterling, Hillsboro, both postponed until Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So they did delay for 3 days.
Did you notice that the school closings list on Tuesday? If you were a team that played on Monday night, your school was closed that day. It was closed on Tuesday.
Yeah.
if you were hosting a tournament or had a basketball game that night, it was a 2-hour delay. It would go right now. It's just a nightmare.
And we've been really lucky with the weather the last few years. We haven't had a lot of weather issues.
Yeah, the winter jam always gets hit.
So fortunate for that. I mean, and everybody got done, so that was great.
Where do you want to start today, Jim?
Well,
you had an interesting. We kind of talked about. You wanted to bring up K-State women's basketball,
right? And the voice of the Wildcats. Maybe you can speak briefly about your tenure as the voice of the K-State women Wildcats.
It was the funnest time ever. Probably their best stretch that they've had.
And the
only thing they were missing was a point guard. They would have won a national championship.
Yeah,
Nicole Oldie, Lori Kane.
Yeah, Kansas player.
Kendra Wecker.
The best player out of Mountain Ridge, the best player out of
and Megan Mahoney, who was from Sturgis, South Dakota. So, yeah, she was pretty good. But they got to be, and you're asking, where they've ranked, where they got ranked at. K-State was number 2 that year, and they went out in not a preseason tournament, it was right around Christmas, and they got beat by Tara Vanderveer, who Stanford team, and they lost that game. But, yeah, they were ranked number 2 in the country, but I think that's the highest they've been since that time.
Yeah, K-State men and women both in first place. That hadn't happened maybe ever, or at least 30 years that they've both been in first place.
And all I hear is K-State's just, the K-State's not any good. Well, they just go out and keep winning games. Then you got KU just puzzling losses. I know West Virginia's not the easiest place to play, but it should be a lot better this year.
Yeah, they've got 12 losses. When does the KU court storming road tour continue next time?
I don't know. They're at home tonight against Cincinnati. So
yeah, that'll be a rout.
I don't know.
Yeah, they'll be fine.
I mean, their lack of depth is starting to play a factor. I mean, those starting 5 can't play 40 minutes.
Anyway, Tech was down 16, and K-State was losing the whole game. Had they both lost, it would have been an 8-way tie for first place at 3-2. It didn't happen. They both came back. Tech played very well in the second half, and K-State was quite fortunate to win that game.
Okay, let's head to Salina, the SIT tournament, and the Great Bend girls have been very good. Andover obviously must be pretty talented, but second place finish in that tournament's pretty good for Sydney back in the Lady Panthers.
Excellent. 3 really good quality games that they played, and unfortunate for Sadie Spray. It was one of those games where she moved into a pick, gets a foul. She touches somebody, gets a foul. She moves, she gets 3 fouls. She didn't block anybody's shot. She didn't collide with some kind of collision. They were all just touch fouls. Comes in the second half, same thing, 4 fouls, and she's missed like 16 minutes in the first half, and then, plays less than half the game. Then she's playing with 4 fouls the last 10 minutes. So that certainly handicapped her style of play because she's a great defensive player and likes to get in the passing lane, so that really hurt. Andover's All-State guard who signed with Utah, Brooke Walker, she's the daughter of Nickerson Hall of Famer Jimmy Walker, who got KU to the College World Series for the only time in baseball history.
Nice.
She was sidelined with an ankle injury, so their best player, one of the top 5 player in the state, didn't play Saturday. But Andover has 6'1" and 6'3", and their guards are really quick and very aggressive. Very well-coached team. So, yeah, no shame in losing. Andover's the number 1 team in 5A girls. They'll be the number 1 seed in postseason. And Great Bend is still 5th, but they're going to have a hard time climbing up from 5. So I would imagine they'll probably have a road site. They still have a chance to catch Emporia, but then they've lost head-to-head to Emporia, so they would lose that tiebreaker. But, hey, if you play somewhere, 5th, 6th seed, you're in good shape. Yeah, Great Bend hadn't had a winning season for some time. They've been stuck on 7 wins, and they're up to 9 wins already.
How about that? They scored 44 points in 4 straight games.
Yeah, you can.
I'd never seen that before.
Yeah, it was just so amazing because I think it was one of the gals, Premer, I think, had to hit 2 free throws. They were at 42. I said, come on, make them both. And she made them both. So it was absolutely stunning that you could do that.
Yeah, the 44. Yeah, 4 straight games.
And then Dax Minton and Cooper Omot, that's the best pass and best play I've ever seen in a high school basketball game. Throw the ball 90 feet It wasn't
on the
94
dime.
feet. Well, it was 93 feet.
And the ball can't spin, or it's going to curve
And
on
Cooper's they've only got a second left. He jumps up. It's the best play I've ever seen in a high school basketball game. It was just amazing.
Well, the Panther boys against Andover, when you have 0 3-pointers and the opponents have 11,
Yeah, 33
that's pretty,
to 0. That's pretty tough.
That's pretty tough to overcome.
Yeah, Andover's a quirky team. It's just they pass the ball around and then they jack up like 25 threes, I think. And Great Bend's using their motion offense and cutting guys and setting picks and just completely different style of game. But, the game is played differently nowadays. And Andover played a certain way and Great Bend plays a more traditional style. That's a lot more fun to watch, in my opinion, because what you end up when you shoot 25 threes, you're going to miss more than half of them. If you're even hot, you're going to miss more than half of them. So it's not a very pleasing style, but again, it works for Andover. But Great Bend they go through a stretch or two in the game. They did the same thing as Abilene. 2 great quarters, they get 36, and they score like 4 points until they hit a bomb at the end of the quarter. So they go through stretches like that, but their teamwork is good. They're a very good team. They're going to be a sleeper team in postseason because they've got all the elements to have to compete in postseason.
So where are the Panther boys sitting on 5A West?
Yeah,
right now?
they have 4 losses now.
Yeah.
8-4. Yeah, they're down the road a little bit. I mean, I think they were 6th or 7th last, and they don't really have too much of a chance to get in the top 4 now. So again, they'll just have to play the season out. But hey, if they win Friday night at Hayes, they definitely still have a shot at the WAC. They lose road games to Garden and Hayes to start the season, then they're 0-2, and they got to basically almost try and win.
There's 8 games, yeah.
6 last 6 games. But if they can win at Hayes, and Hayes has been their nemesis. But I guarantee you, they remember how the season ended last year. They lost twice to Hayes regular season, and then lost in postseason. So they remember how it happened. And Great Bend is definitely poised to go up to Hayes and have a good week up in Hayes this week.
Okay, St. John Midwinter.
Tremendous effort by St. John girls. This is a Wichita Sunrise team that beat Great Bend girls by 13 points. Sunrise happened to hit 7 of 8 3-pointers that game. Great Bend could have beat them, but, again, Sunrise has physical girls, big, thick girls who are really tough. St. John beats Sunrise 63-59. Tremendous win. It's the best win that Coach Smith has had down at St. John in years. If you throw away the game before where they broke a 29-game losing streak to Central Plains.
Yeah.
They hadn't won since 2012, so it had been 12 years since they beat Central Plains. So if you ask Danny, I think he'd probably say, yeah, Central Plains was a very nice win.
Yeah, that would be talking about getting the monkey off your back. That's a big gorilla. The thing about St. John this year, and one thing that's been St. John was winning games, but they were winning ugly. They like 34, 32. Remember they beat Hoisington in 2 overtimes, and it was like 29-26. But they're scoring points this year.
Yeah, and that's the key because Lydia Reed's a really good player, and Heidi Fisher was MVP. But Reagan Bonner, last year against when they faced off against Central Plains and almost beat them, Reagan's had a tough time shooting the ball this year. She had 20 points in the championship game. So she's that. Sometimes you have that player that, man, when she plays well, we play well. Reagan Bonner is it for St. John. Man, when she plays, she's sort of a swing player that goes in and out. 20 points in the championship game and got them the victory. So, yeah, great win.
Winter Jam, Minneapolis.
Well, we'll touch base on that in a second.
Okay, all right.
First of all,
I don't want to talk about Nickerson.
Yeah, no, we're gonna talk about Nickerson because 0-8 going to the tournament.
Yeah.
And when I visit with the grandson, Alex King, from time to time, I said, "Hey, Alex, you guys going to get a win this week? You guys going to St. John?" He says, "Yeah, we're going to get a win. We're going to win the first one." No, I'm talking about when you guys played Chase. No, we're going to win the first one, and then we're going to win the second one. We're going to be in the championship game. I said, "Okay, hey, good for you." So guess what they do? They win the first, win the second, and play in the championship game. And Alex King was named the most valuable player of the tournament, which is stunning because, he's grown up without his dad for the past 2 years. His dad died 2 years ago, and he's a really good kid, and he has had to accept responsibility in his family as being the adult male in the household, and he's done a great job. He drives his younger sister and younger brother to school each day, and is a really good kid. So it's nice sometimes.
And he got MVP?
MVP of the tournament.
On the losing team.
Yeah, MVP of the tournament.
Wow.
And when I've visited with the grandson, Alex King, from time to time, I said, "Hey, Alex, you guys going to get a win this week? You guys going to win the first one?" No, we're going to win the second one. No, we're going to win the first one, and then we're going to be in the championship game. I said, "Okay, hey, good for you." So guess what they do? They win the first, win the second, and play in the championship game. And Alex King was named the most valuable player of the tournament, which is stunning because, he's grown up without his dad for the past 2 years. His dad died 2 years ago, and he's a really good kid. So it's nice sometimes.
Winter Jam, Minneapolis.
Oh, tremendous effort by St. John. they did lose.
Yeah.
However, when their second best player doesn't play in the first game, they don't win the first game if he doesn't play well.
Okay.
They beat Larned. They're down 9 points. So it was an achievement based on who was the most valuable player as far as getting their team the furthest that you could, and he certainly was it. He had 3 double-figure games. And I asked him, well, how'd you like going against the 6'7" and 6'9" guys? He said, that wasn't too much fun. So we were awfully proud. And sometimes you get those family moments when your son or daughter maybe has a daughter or son born, is one of those moments. And it was just a proud grandfather moment that we'll always remember, because they did a little video, and he said, what? He was stunned. He said, what? And we had to kept replaying that time after time. So it was a good family moment Saturday night.
Well, good for you. That is cool. And thoughts on the Winter Jam?
Yeah, it was Ellsworth boys. What a season they're having. Their football team was the best football team they've had maybe ever, and their basketball team is certainly talented too. Yeah, what a season they're having over at Ellsworth. And then Minneapolis girls, what a tremendous effort to beat Hoisington girls that bad. I still like Hoisington's chances in their sub-state. It's going to be a home sub-state, and Haven and Hoisington have the 2 best records. But I've seen Haven play, and Hoisington, when they play their best, they certainly can win that sub-state very easily. And Hoisington boys, we knew this would happen. They were without 2 weeks of practice, and now they're putting things together. They're playing better. They got 2 wins, and that's a team that's going to be competitive in their league, and they're going to have a chance to compete in that sub-state because, there's not a lot of powerhouse teams like Heston like they've had in the past.
Okay, who's going to be in the Super Bowl?
Super Bowl. Well, I would favor Baltimore. I mean, but when you got the number 1 quarterback, you still got a shot. But I'd favor Baltimore a little bit, and I sort of like Detroit too because Detroit. The advantage Detroit and Kansas City have is they're both playing sort of with house money because, the Chiefs are on the road. People said, yeah, you haven't won on the road. Now they've won on the road. They're still playing with house money. I don't know what the line is. What's Baltimore favored by 3?
I have not looked yet.
But so they'll still have a chance as long as they don't do something silly like they did Sunday. They'll be fine.
Anything else, Jimbo?
No, just, we'll get going with regular season basketball and get excited about
high school basketball season starts now.
Yeah,
unless you're playing in a tournament this week,
yeah, it was nice to see. I like those dual tournaments where the boys and girls are playing at the same time. It certainly makes things easier for all those people who want to see both teams, and they're both in the same place. And Salina ended up playing at 3 different gyms, but it all worked out. I mean, it all worked out fine. It was nice to see both Great Bend teams play at Kingman and both of them play at Salina. It was a nice change by Great Bend's athletic department.
All right, Jim, we'll talk to you next week.
Oh,
Jim Azunas, Great Bend Tribune, with us here on Sports Day that rolls on right after this.
From the Mail Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB, Great Bend, and 95.5 FM K238CK, Hoisington.
Central and Western Kansas residents, are you looking for a new vehicle? Marmy Auto Group can make it happen. Marmy Auto Group includes Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep and Ram, Chevrolet, and GMC. Marmy Auto Group, your Central and Western Kansas dealer, has new and pre-owned vehicles, or we can special order your vehicle today. If your existing vehicle needs serviced, Marmy's award-winning service department can help. Come to Marmy Auto Group on 10th or marmys.net. Marmys, make it happen.
Attention high school juniors, explore your career paths at Barton Community College's Junior Day on February 14th. This fun and free day features an on-campus tour, giveaways, yard games, pizza, and did we mention $3,000 and scholarships will be up for grabs. Learn about a variety of career paths, some of which can get you into the workforce and making money in just 1 semester. Sign up online now through February 1st at juniorday.bartoncc.edu.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Amy Herrera, Regional Retail Manager for your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time and I've helped many people navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people. I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you how we're committed to serving you in our communities. At Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
We get it. Life is busy.
It's a constant rush from work to home to sports practice and still trying to have quality time with your family. The latest technology from Nextech Wireless can help keep you connected and organized. Right now, when you get a new phone, you can get an Apple Watch or tablet on us. Stop by a store near you and visit with one of our wireless experts today. Nextech Wireless. Home on the range.
If you need physical therapy, consider Advanced Therapy in Great Bend and Progressive Therapy in Larned and Hayes.
Hi, my name is Dalton Jones, a patient that I helped. She came in with chronic back pain that she'd been having for years. After several weeks of showing her exercises, several different interventions, we were able to get her back to where she can do her shopping without leaning on the shopping cart at all.
You don't need to hurt. Physical therapy can help. Call Advanced or Progressive Therapy and Sports Medicine to explore your treatment options and get your life back.
It's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Welcome back to Sports Day here on KVGB, brought to you in part by Nextech Wireless. Experience wireless built by Kansans for Kansas. Also by the Marmy Auto Group on 10th Street in Great Bend and Advanced Therapy and Sports Medicine. Get your life back. Aaron Clark, Steve Webster back with you. Mike Hesher on the controls here. Okay, Caitlin Clark, by the way, said she was okay after she got knocked down. Ohio State Athletic Director Gene Smith went to the Hawkeyes locker room, apologized to Clark, and Iowa coach Lisa Bluter. Hawkeyes coach Kevin McGuff also issued an apology. Another coach issuing an apology. Texas coach Rodney Terry apologized for his post-game rant about Central Florida players doing a horns down hand sign after beating the Longhorns earlier in the week. Made his comments Saturday after Texas beat number 9 Baylor 75-73. Tara Vanderveer became the all-time winningest coach in major college basketball history, passing former Duke and Army coach Mike Krzyzewski with her 1,203rd career victory, which is cool, but it's two different sports. So, I don't know.
It is kind of.
It's cool. Tara Vanderveer.
It's neat, but like you said, it is two different sports. Like you can't even. They're both basketball, but they're very different in how they're attacked. What you do on them. It's weird that they combine the overall win record there.
Okay, Wichita State lost yesterday. I thought they'd be better this year. Wichita State 8-10. They lost to South Florida yesterday by the score of 72-68. Nick Dunlap became the first amateur in 33 years to win on the PGA Tour. Made a 6-foot putt on the final hole for a one-shot victory in the American Express tournament on Sunday. And this is just for Hesh today. Taylor Swift blowing a kiss after someone greeted her by yelling "Bills by a billion" upon arriving at Highmark Stadium to watch boyfriend Travis. And wasn't it so cool after he caught his 22-yard touchdown pass, threw the football into the crowd, then turned and made a heart gesture with his hands toward the suite where Swift was seated in the opposite corner of the stadium.
Isn't that just so cute?
Talk to you tomorrow on Sports Day.